Good morning, everybody here gathered. Take this occasion to share with you a speech specially prepared for the purpose of communicating, bringing unto your knowledge several things as I have come to know. It's the 21st February 2024, which happens to be a leap year. Interesting. We're going to share, reflect a couple things. So I'm delighted with the audience here. Several of you most likely been looking forward to this day, this moment. And some of you that perhaps are very likely capable of reacting or at least passing on whatever it is we transact this moment. I greet you all here gathered in the name of our mysterious Lord. It is with delight that I deliver this speech to you on this occasion, at this moment, and in this manner. My name is Willrich. On paper, it is expressed as Willrich. Joseph Lutalo. Well, along the way, I've also been baptized. Chwa, Makama, Remera, Weira, by well-intended powers. I didn't refuse that. I'm the Mnyaktara of the Nuchwezi the children of Kitara, the Sen. Since ancient times, at the moment, I address you as President of Nuchwezi, first of all, but in a sense, as a president of the internet community. It is a calling, and once I responded to it affirmatively. That's this moment. Please join me in first of all thanking the benevolent Lord for making this moment happen. Not many fine things touching on the core, what we are today, seem to be readily accessible to any but a select few, the elite, who hardly talk to the masses. In this day and time, human exists in a body at a given space and time, which is somewhat finite and readily observable. However, especially for netizens, in this case, focus on human netizens. Of course, human netizens are surely the focus of much of today's talk. Because there are also entity netizens existing as cognizant and affectant virtual entities, but also bots and various non-human intelligences that likewise have a presence perceptible to humans, sometimes at the scale of cities, nations, states, or entire continents, and perhaps the globe. This is a crazy time to be alive. Oh my God. That's not a rant by some Yucatan teenage professor. No. That is I sharing what I have come to know of this era we are living in. Not the worst based on written human history, but also not one to be taken for granted, given where humanity has been and where we are likely to go next. Don't you forget, we are in the era with humans operating physically in outer space. Humans have left the planet. People, humans have left the planet. Now we have the International Space Station, also the Chinese and Russia working in their own variants. Several other sovereign states might follow suit in due time. Don't you forget, we are in the era with humans operating physically in outer space. Away from that maze, sophisticated, egg-like prison floating in space, next to rocky comrades likewise swallowing a bat. The local fierce source of life we might call a great luminous hope. Not aliens, you people. No. Some snippets, source code, written by the dark Mazinga Homo sapiens, mostly ate yams, drank goat's milk, maybe milk of cows and such. The source codes are out there, currently making things happen many miles away from the only planet we used to call home. These things are not fiction. One cannot walk down the same river twice. We happen to be in the day of the quantified self. human augmentation, and the global or even interplanetary mindset. One might ask, what determines consensus reality in this day and age? Do you think it is the shared knowledge of the perpetual unexpected rising and setting of the sun in our villages? Is it some quantifiable set of metrics about some standards regulated by sun? Or do you think consensus reality ceases to matter simply because some people can exist for days inside of virtual alternate worlds, sometimes performing intricate, life-giving or life-taking rituals in dimensions and awareness spaces that have almost nothing to do with the reality we can see, feel, touch, or breathe inside. Don't you think there is a need to answer the question, is anything true for all people existing right now, irrespective of who or where they are? Or is it that attempting to hunt down a pin at the last street in order to consensus reality, it gave way to unfathomable and wieldy powers and ways of chaos? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to be president. Yeah, I'm very, very delighted to be president. And not only in this occasion, I get the chance to explore and apply some ideas at a scale that the average person can't. And this with justifiable authority and power. Some of this is possible thanks to the internet, an augmentation of the physical world that we created and which we must nurture, apply, and advance. Especially because since its arrival, some humans have a kind of awareness and influence at scales, with speed, light. Another such immense capabilities which taken together or in parts kind of make us able to manifest leaps in and solutions to the human problem in ways unknown anywhere in written human history before this. Imagine just yesterday when some questions could only be answered by investing in taking arduous journeys filled with thrill, danger, and awe. sometimes even death, like riding across the Sahara Desert. Riding across the Sahara Desert on a camel, or sailing across the vast Atlantic, sometimes worried the ship might fall over the edge of the world. And other such, crazy things. Just to sit inside of some shrine, under some tree, or in a cave with an enlightened one. This could be a mage, a guru, an oracle, a medium, an adept, some kind of Illuminati of some kind, just to get some precious, hard-earned esoteric answers to seemingly or otherwise intractable questions, especially in a simple, usable way. Right now, access to such an enlightened intelligence is but a click away. This is something that merely requires an active internet connection and some knowledge of where and how to look or act in the virtual world, with a systematic wizardry we call computing. I trust that most of you here know computers, right? 21st century folks definitely know about computers, I trust. Except for those who are living under a rock or in remote parts of Central African Republic. A smartphone in the hands of some bushman deep inside Guinea-Bissau or somewhere in Tasmania could unravel irreversible transformations in the most advanced, most sophisticated parts of the world, just in a matter of minutes or even seconds. Well, that is if the private knew just where to click or touch on the seemingly humble piece of software and hardware magic that we call a phone. This isn't fiction, you guys. No. This is the world I'm reigning over. All right. Okay, what should I say? People, stop living in darkness. People, stop living in darkness. I repeat. Embrace the age of technology and extended awareness, which is now possible. Also, don't die with unanswered questions if you can. And some of you will not be here 5 years, or 10 years, or 50 years from now. But if you have questions, mysteries, little issues here and there, this is the time to bring them out and get some answers. Also realize and accept that the right education is not unattainable to anyone with the will and desire to get into the know, or be something, or be someone. I see some little children here in the audience. Perhaps, they're looking at their father, their mother, their big brother, doing this or that, seated behind maybe the cockpit of Airbus, Boeing 747, or some submarine, manning, a fleet of drones in the sky, or drafting new plans for a new part of the city, saying, wow, when I grow up, I want to be like him. I want to, wake up and just go to my little paradise and reign over the world. All right. I know access to 21st century technology is still a fantasy to some of you. Sorry about that, but maybe it will not be like that forever. That, including some of you that have been born, who have walked the era past Y2K millennium back. Who remembers the year 1999, when folks were running around the world telling us, the world is going to end, we're all going to die. That was 1999 and 2000, in the common era. And also came coronavirus, COVID-19, global apocalypse. This was 2019 and 2020. Then the existence, of ubiquitous, mysterious, utilitarian, RMG-driven Nuchwezi shrines that are aboard the International Space Station. Things are happening, guys. So yes, the cost and accessibility of smart technology is not an even field, perhaps, for everyone, especially for members of lower class economies, the third world, and some minorities, even in the first world. But this shouldn't stay like this, forever. I like to believe, or I want to believe, that perhaps rightly so, that every child and adult in the 21st century has a right to have access to both the internet and its myriad basic virtual services and utilities. For example, access to a reliable, unbiased, accurate search engine. There was a time when it didn't matter where you went searching for answers. But in today's world, we have some standard mechanisms for seeking answers. Search engines play a very vital and essential role. And access to such services is very, very important and perhaps should be a right for everyone. course, with reasonable restraint and some parental supervision or guidance where necessary. Some little crazy kids might go on the internet and spend hours, running after their naked friends. Perhaps looking for forbidden versions of Tom and Jerry, or Scooby-Doo. But it's mostly for the beta, especially if well exploited and encouraged. After all, we didn't choose to be born in this day and age. So let's go on and make things happen. Then we have the matter of differences between people. Yes, the internet, as with other kinds of globally embraced technologies, has created classes, social, spiritual, and perhaps also economical. It can't be taken for granted anymore that a person with a 24-hour access to the internet isn't the same as one without. Or somebody who needs to first walk for a few miles just to reach an internet cafe and see or touch a computer. Well, this is still true in some parts of the world, right now as we speak. Also, just like owning or having access to a car, it's a kind of power or status symbol in yesterday's society. I know some of you here look at your fancy cars that you've parked there, having, ridiculous number plates, as Gate 1, VV4, the Mayor, Lord A, and such. Maseratis, Beamers, Benzes, Lex Coupes, and Jeeps. That's all right. Some people want cars, some people don't want them. But likewise, having access to owning a computer, especially one that can operate on the internet while on the move. You have that, having a computer that can access the internet while you're moving around the world, or going about your work, whatever it is you do. This, for example, with smartphones, which technically are just mobile computers. This is such an immense differentiator when contrasted against someone living without or who doesn't own such a piece of technology, especially today in the 21st century. And it's not just about access. There's also the matter of knowledge and technical know-how. Some people could own a supercomputer in the middle of some primitive village or society deep inside the jungle, somewhere in Africa. maybe somewhere in the jungles of the Amazon, or the undomesticated parts of North America or the Balkans. And yet, they might only use it to make or receive calls, if at all they know how to use it. It's not a small application, but it's surely such a dire waste of resources and power, given what could be accomplished with such technology. But not everyone knows how to operate or use a computer. Much as they are becoming cheaper and cheaper by the day, and also more efficient in terms of capability versus size or cost. Someone can buy a computer on the streets of Kampala for just a little, about $100. It's a used one, third hand, maybe even $50 or such. So right now, literacy in information and communications technologies is a sure must-have for many modern citizens. Just like writing and reading natural languages is still relevant for human survival in the present era. So imagine someone walks to a shop or goes somewhere, they've put various products, having attractive packages, but this person doesn't know how to read. So the bottle is saying, this is unfit for human consumption. But maybe it's a poison for rats or other kind of vermin. This dude, might end up opening the damn thing and swallowing bits of it. And before you know it, they're falling down and we want to take them to the grave. So, literacy is important. People need to be able to read and to write. At least they need to be able to read and write their names. So if a society doesn't invest in growing or advancing the literacy of its people, in this case, not excluding ICT literacy, just like with the absence of mathematical or scientific literacy, such a society or its leaders would be committing a crime against its people. So if among you here, there is someone who was denied the chance to attend school or to learn how to count, please consider that whoever was in charge of you was doing a disservice to you. Likewise, when we have parents or adults who don't want to take their children to school, or who don't want to see their children learn how to read or write, such people are committing a crime against their children and their future. So thus we come to the matter of netizens. Who are these people? Who are these netizens? So a netizen is a citizen of a commune that exists on the internet. Think carefully about that. A commune that exists on the internet. I don't expect that everyone here is a philosopher or maybe a linguist or bothers about ideas in social theory or whatever. But a netizen is a term we are going to come across very many times in this era and after. First of all, because humans are social animals with style, perhaps much better than hyenas and wolves. I like wolves for some reason. They're also better than prehistoric dinosaurs. Some of you watched the Jurassic Park, that movie, the Jurassic Park. Huge reptiles and such, escaping the zoo, attacking members of the neighborhood. So humans are better than the Tyrannosaurus Rex in certain ways. But also, of course, in this day and age, the supervision, coordination, and sustenance of communities in the physical world leverages communal structures established in the virtual abstract dimension, such as is made possible by the internet and virtual communication and interaction technologies. This phenomenon might look like a 21st century thing at first glance. However, considering that civilized humans have operated sophisticated communities, social structures at scale for centuries or even millennia, have you heard about the Club of Rome, the Ottoman Empire, the United Kingdom? Humans have operated immense social structures for a long time. At scale, for centuries or even millennia. For example, the Catholic Church has been in existence for quite a couple of centuries. So this with the help of meticulous, careful, and systematic use of written and pictorial records, sometimes in books, ledgers, journals, encyclopedias, diaries, atlases and maps, and other such literary tools, without which proper management and operation of cities, governments, empires, clubs, and some families wouldn't have been possible. Of course, in the 21st century, and most likely after, because right now we are in the 2020s, it is 2024, next year shall be 2025. Most likely after, find that a community or social structure that exists in the real physical world. One of my professors like to call it the corporeal world, to distinguish it from things like, Second Life, evil line worlds. These will likewise, if not mostly, also have corresponding social structures with some sort of presence in the virtual or non-physical world. How many of you have successfully touched the internet? Like, you know what? I went somewhere and found an Amazon.com and touched it, or found a Google.com, or an alphabet with XYZ, Nuchwezi.tech, userbytes.com. I saw it, touched it, I could even smell it. How many of you? So, this idea of physical social structures being reflected in the virtual world is something typical of 21st century life. And this is something that the modern internet plays very, very well, and which anyone with intentions of seeing successful, efficient operation of a significant community or social body ought not take for granted anymore. So imagine trying to run a sovereign country. Sovereign country, maybe Tanzania, or maybe Portugal, Venezuela. So imagine trying to run such a sovereign country, sovereign state, but without the use of any information or communication technology, or some form of computing facility in this day and age. Almost endlessly, dead enterprise a fiasco. It would fail. It would just be a disaster. So-called horrific franchise. So we cannot ignore or take ICT for granted anymore, especially because it already penetrated people's lives, exists alongside many other things people have known and done for centuries before computers had arrived, and is most likely not going anywhere anytime soon. In conclusion, or actually before I conclude, please allow me to take a moment to talk about the things I've come to love about life with the internet. First of all, physical constraints and limits, such as the distance I can walk or run about, things I can shout to or scream. These aren't limited by where I live in the world. Nor does it depend on what exists around me. So likewise, the people and entities I can interact with on a daily or routine basis, these aren't limited where I'm staying physically, or who I know or stay with in my immediate physical community or location. So right now, as we are having this moment, we are existing in some part of Garuga, possibly future city in the state of Uganda, somewhere in an area called Bugabo, along Fastchua Road. You can see Lake Victoria, and some houses, some folks walking about, some birds, and hazy clouds. But right now, the internet allows me to talk or interact with friends on other parts of the world, like in other continents, in Asia, some folks in Sydney, guys in Durban, Pretoria, in South Africa, some friends in Europe. So this is something to be glad or happy about. So this idea of an unconstrained mindset and awareness is such a huge difference compared to what life was like before I became active, able to operate online and use the power of computers and the internet. Things like access to experiences, thoughts, ideas, memories, and art from all over the world. And you know, the world, they say the world is a small piece of rock flying about in space. But oh my God, the world is such a big, immense place. If you had to especially go walking on foot, trying to cover the distance around the world. So I can go about thinking, solving problems in my personal or communal life using computing and the internet. And some of these things can really be seen or be felt. Like if I happen to walk into a public taxi or a restaurant or a bar, and then come across a YouTuber or a Redditor or a TikToker, an Instagrammer, many times, and without much ado introductions, I find myself attracted to these people. So there will be something about them that, I kind of sync with, get along with. This is the impact of the internet on our lives. So if you find a young man, usually hanging out on Reddit, they've gone out into the park and they're looking for a girl, to marry or what. So if they come across a fellow Redditor, most likely there's going to be lots of chemistry between them. So there's something about the internet which has permeated our modern culture and personality, irrespective of where we are around the world. And this plays a vital role in defining or expressing who we are. Finally, as the first netizen at Nuchwezi, which is now a global presence. I feel obliged to extend much thanks and appreciation to all the men and women, boys and girls who are active, who at least once have contributed something towards shaping or defining the culture and lifestyle we are all glad to be a part of. Software engineers, architects, coders, admins, writers, fans, trolls, creatives, what the heck? There's even a culture of internet dancing, so we have lots of crazy dancers participating in internet culture. These people who we usually come across directly or indirectly while operating or living online. And the reason there is much hope in shaping and manifesting a world with better, equitable, and fair access to progressive and transformative powers we all want or need. It's an age with computing, and it can't, it shouldn't be like one without. I give special thanks to and send greetings to netizens active on the R1 Internet subreddit. So Reddit happens to be one of those few places on the internet where the gist of what's happening in the internet world takes precedence. So we like to call it the front page of the internet. Also, special thanks and greetings to UIC, the Uganda Internet Community, especially the core on Telegram, and my immediate physical neighbors active on BiBTex, it's the Bugabo Bukaya Internet Community, as well as the larger African spanning NBJFJ. I'll not tell you what that means. If you have a copy of this manuscript, perhaps you'll find out. It's a WhatsApp community spanning Africa. To name but a few. Finally, I should say that life means so much more with you, internet people, than without you. So let's keep progressing. Let's look out for each other, support each other, and perhaps where possible, work for each other. The internet has given us much hope and a platform to express ourselves, to be free and independent, and to shape the future, perhaps even the present that we all want. So everyone who has a smartphone or a computer with connection to the internet has the power in their hands today to reach out to the rest of the world. No matter what problems or challenges you're facing, where you come from, your background, your religion, your beliefs, your color, whatever, the internet is very impartial and fair to all. So let's encourage the internet culture and let's leverage it to transform life, even outside of the internet, like in our villages and homes. Signing off, JWL, Chwa Kama Romera, the Internet President, saying thank you and have a lovely day.